is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show. This.
Where can you take $10,000 off the 2026 Acura MDX? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Blink, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Blink, be the maestro of your own home.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
It's game day at Toyota of Hollywood. Our all-stars are here to give you our MVP experience. Join the fun and feast on discounts up to $4,500. Huddle up and score big on a 25 Corolla. Not $26,000, $17,988. It's a tailgate party you don't want to miss. So gobble up the savings at the #1 volume Toyota dealer. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231. Implantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
Where can you drive the new Acura TLX for only $399 a month? There's just one place, Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
Price, service, selection. Get all this and more at South Florida's #1 loved Subaru store. Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Save today with our 3 ways to save. 0% financing, 0 down payment, or make no payments for 90 days. From Subaru of Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome aboard from beautiful Subaru of Pembroke Pines at 16100 Pines Boulevard. It is Wednesday, March 18th, 2026, day number 19,053 since the Miami Dolphins were world champions. Day number 8,836 since the Canes were national champions. And today is year number 32 of my wedding anniversary. So happy anniversary to the wife. I already said it this morning. But anyways, 32 years for us today. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. We got to 32. Well, she got to 32. I mean, it's easy for me, hard for her, actually. So, but anyway, welcome aboard. Come on by and say hi. If you want to come on by and join us here, don't forget you always get $500 off when you mention our name. And if you're looking for an Ascent or a Crosstrek or a Forester or an Outback, we've got them for you here at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. So come on by and say hi. They've got a large certified pre-owned inventory also, with rates as low as 0.9% on select vehicles,
0.9% on pre-owned cars. It's not a typo, folks. And all 2026 models are here. The brand new 2026 WRX and the redesigned 2026 Outback is here. And we've had that one in the videos. It's actually a really, really cool car. Did a nice job with it. Anyway, welcome aboard. Time to rock and roll here. We'll have some fun. Alan is here, also the general manager of Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Last night, the United States came up short against Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic, 3-2. Venezuela ends up winning the World Baseball Classic. The place was loud as heck. And congratulations, first and foremost, to Venezuela. They deserve to win it. They got the clutch hits when they needed it. They got the clutch pitching, when they needed it. And in the end, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? And they got what they deserved, which is a champion. And the U.S. didn't win. But, it's – I have an interesting twist on a cheap excuse. And one of the excuses that was used is, well, you see the emotion that these teams and these players are playing with. How come the United States doesn't play with that kind of emotion? Well, let's really look at that. Okay? Let's understand. Let's put context to everything, right? So if the USA doesn't play with the same kind of passion that Venezuela does, then Puerto Rico does, then the Dominican does. So let me ask you something. Is baseball number one in the Dominican, in Puerto Rico, and in Venezuela? Yeah. Is baseball number one in America? No. Is it number two? No. Is it number three? No. Maybe four? Because it's behind the NFL, it's behind college football, and it's behind the NBA. Guaranteed. So baseball's fallen down to number 4. Baseball in this country, Americans, they don't have the passion anymore that they used to for baseball. They don't go crazy for baseball like they used to. I'll be 60 this year. I'm young enough to know when baseball was passionately followed. But that was decades ago. That died a long, long time ago. Football took over by the late 70s to early 80s. Football became God. NFL. And then eventually college football took over, and then the NBA took over Major League Baseball. So as a country, we don't carry the passion that the Dominicans do. In fact, for those of you that don't follow it and probably don't care and don't even know about it, but there's something called La Serie del Caribe. And some of you don't care about that, the Caribbean Baseball Series. But guess who does give a huge crap load about the Caribbean Baseball Series? Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Venezuelans, Mexicans. Americans don't give a crap about that. And when it comes to this, we're not at that level. So when you start blaming the players that they don't play with that kind of emotion, blame yourselves. You don't carry that kind of emotion either. In fact, you're trying to match or come close to the emotion of the Dominicans or the Venezuelans or the Puerto Ricans. You can try, but you're going to fail every single time. Do you know why? Do you guys know why? Well, let me expand on that part too. Because your connection, as jingoistic as it may be, it's not passionately followed by it. Whereas Puerto Ricans are passionately following their baseball team. Everywhere they go, all their players to whatever cities they go to. And it's something, a sense of pride for them when it comes to that. And it's just different now. When it comes to the priority list of Americans now, on average, baseball just doesn't drive that, dude. Football drives that. We have that kind of passion for football, but we don't have that kind of passion for baseball. So look in the mirror before you blame the players, because it's kind of something that goes with our culture here in America. And in our culture, baseball is not the fabric anymore that it used to be. But in those other countries, baseball is everything to them. So that's where it actually changes. That's where it's looked at differently. That's where the passion is completely different. Their passion in the Caribbean for baseball is the kind of passion that you see for soccer in Central and South America and Europe. Something we don't carry either, by the way. Because soccer is what? Even further down the totem pole. So it'll get jingoistic just for the moment that we are elite, but it's kind of a created, manufactured passion. The passion that Venezuelans have, there's no manufacturing there, bro. That shit is inside their blood. You know what I'm saying? Dominicans, same thing. It's inside their blood. It's different. Those days, we used to have that, but not anymore. That's not our country anymore. So look in the mirror before you blame the players, because the fans are right there with the players. You don't bring it like they do. It's just kind of the way it is. Yes, sir.
Wasn't it the early 2000s when the Atlanta Braves were like the baseball police? And anybody that was having fun, they were hitting and all that and trying to control how people played.
The catcher was
McCann.
Yes, exactly.
I remember because every time somebody did something, a bat flip or something else, they'd be like, "That's not baseball."
Right, that's not baseball. There's we right. Our baseball players in this country, we come up with stupid unwritten rules. Okay? That's our baseball. That's our morons that have baseball. We don't want Lima time. No Lima time. No, we can't have that. Meanwhile, we had Joe Morgan with the pump. We had Ricky Henderson. We had Mike Schmidt shaking butt. Come on. Noma Garcia Parra. And Terry Pendleton did the same thing too. But it's like everything we wanted. We have taken out the character out of the game. But guess what? In Puerto Rico and in the Dominican and in Venezuela, they want their emotions in the game.
To me, that's what hurt the U.S. because you had no characters, nobody to follow, that all went away.
Right. Who did not look forward to Ozzie Smith running onto the field and there's the backflip to start the game? Like, who doesn't want that, dude? Who doesn't want the babe calling his shot? This is how baseball started. So blame yourselves, dude. Blame yourselves. Don't go, the players don't play with emotion. No, America plays with no emotion. Americans have sucked the life out of baseball. I grew up with Mark the Bird Fidrich talking to himself on the mound. So, I hear all this, no emotions. Like, well, you assholes have just policed the sport. You've just like completely ruined the sport on your own. And now we're down to strikeouts and home runs. And there's no characters, there's no nothing to the game. And so, you know what I mean? And so the Latin people actually have character and personality and enthusiasm and all that kind of stuff. So, it's like you want to blame people. Blame yourselves, man. Blame yourselves. You've ruined your own game. You've made your own game boring, stale. You've added like a golf element to it. Blame yourselves. Blame yourselves. Okay? They are feeding off of their fans, and then they reciprocate with the same stuff and give them the color that they want and the action and everything that they are looking for, the emotion, and this is kind of what it is. And that's why you'll see the drums and the singing and everything before and after the games and all that. Americans don't do that. And so, you got what you deserve. You made the game boring. You made your people boring. You policed the sport, which was a great point on Sean's part, that when we had that idiot from the Braves trying to make this golf. No, dude, it's baseball. Let's go. I want to know about a guy that pees on his bat in order to, play the game better. What was our guy that used to use urine on the bat? Deer piss or whatever it was, or hour after the game celebrating. You think Americans would be an hour after the game celebrating? They would have left, dude. An hour before the game, they would have been in the car headed home. That's the American way. These people are staying there partying and all that. I love that. It's like, it's so hypocritical for the media and for they play with no emotion. Bro, you guys have no emotion for baseball. So that you get what you deserve, dude. It's just the way it is. That's the truth. And on this show, we just give it to you straight, dude. If you want to handle it, you can handle it. If you can't, this is not the show for everybody. But if anything, America can blame themselves for screwing up their own game. So take the fun, take the color, take the emotion, take the passion, take the characters out. You know what it reminds me a lot of, Sean? Tennis. Tennis doesn't really allow you to be yourself sometimes. They try, immediately they're fighting you and all that. Where I grew up with Jimmy Connors and Pat McEnroe, and I grew up with guys that were characters, and in tennis it used to have like a lot of passion to it, and people that like brought a certain element of entertainment to it, and that kind of added to everything. You know what I mean? And then that's kind of gotten a little stale too in that sense. There's not a lot of those personalities, enough of that kind of stuff. Yes, sir.
All right, so I looked up that, and it said several former Major League players, notably Jorge Posada, Moises Alou, Vladimir Guerrero, and Louis Tiant, notoriously urinated on their hands to toughen skin and prevent blisters.
Right. What was our guy, bro? Jesus, man. He played for the Orioles after. From us to the Orioles, he's a pretty good hitter. Really cool guy. Come on, man. Somebody help me out there. Huh? No, not Conine. Oh, he did play for the Orioles. That's a good one. That's a good one. It's like with an M. I want to say it's like with an M. Come on, man. Somebody remember? Who's the guy that used to use urine on his bat for the Marlins? He was like a character himself, too, man. Oh, Jesus. Oh, wow. Anyway. So just put Marlin player urine bat. And I bet it'll come out just like that. Why do I want to say his name is with an M? Yeah, Marlins player urine bat, and I guarantee you it'll come out. Some story's got to come out with that search, with those 4 words. No, Kevin Millar. Thank you, Rusty. Kevin Millar. Thank you. Moises Alou, by the way, I personally hate. Just so you know, I just personally hate Moises Alou. in the 97 season as a beat reporter for the Marlins that year. Every game, pretty much you needed a quote from Moises Alou because he either had a hit, a game-winning hit, a game-winning RBI, a game-winning home run, something, a stolen base. He threw somebody out. He's an awesome player. Awesome player. But, man, he was a first-class asshole. I mean, really, he was terrible after the games. And then the worst part, you want to know what the worst – have I ever told you this? You've heard this story, right? Moises Alou? Okay, so some bitch is got his shoulder iced up, and he's walking around drinking a Presidente, because, of course, DR. And so he's drinking a Presidente, and we're waiting for him by the locker room. We've gotten everybody. And he just walks around, goes out of the training room, walks out, go by the manager, walks out again, goes over to, and he sees us, and he knows we need his quote. Writers, electronic, TV, and we're all waiting for Moises Alou. And he did this constantly to us. In fact, it got to a point where we were counting the beers he had before he talked to us. Oh, no, he finished that one. That's a new one. Like, seriously. Like, that's how it got. And so I couldn't stand him by the end of the year. Like, I know he was a great player, but the fact that he just made us wait because he wanted to an extra 45 minutes, he was just being a major dick. So, personally, myself, for me, I can't stand Moises Alou. He's an asshole. But, man, I want him on my team. That's for sure. I definitely want him on my team. Oh, man. Don't forget to visit our friends at Caneswear and use our code Big O Show. You can get 10% off there when you use our code Big O Show. You can use it in person and online at caneswear.com, folks. All right. Don't forget you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. The Dow is down 384 points as expected. The S&P is down almost 37 points. The NASDAQ is down almost a point. PPI inflation rose drastically to 3.4%, up from 2.9%. That's huge. And core PPI is at 3.9%, up from 3.7%. So inflation continues to rise, which is definitely not good. Bitcoin's at 71,210 right now. So we've got a 4% dip, obviously. And this is all because of what's going on with the war and everything else, which is just absolutely nuts. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. There you go, folks. All right. Let me see on the chat board what we got going on. Big Johnson, good morning to you, sir. NorCal, he says, I heard someone compare Achane to Barry Sanders' first two seasons. I didn't know how to respond to that. Achane is a real deal and was similar in size to Barry the first two seasons. No, Barry's a better player still. Better player, better running back. I mean, Achane's phenomenal, but I'm not putting him in the Barry class. Barry is a freak of all freaks. If they made that comparison, sometimes NorCal, what I worry about with that is, did you see Barry play? And I have a problem with that, because now that I've been around this earth for 6 decades, if you didn't see it, I don't know if you can really comment on it. And if you can only see a couple of highlights and read the stat book, that doesn't tell you the story of the player. And so you got to have context, which is a word we have already used in this first hour of the show. You got to have context to understand whatever you're going to talk about. Look, when people talk about passion, did anybody mention what I just mentioned right now about the baseball classic? I bet you nobody's going to talk about it that way. They'll use some lazy terms, but if you really look at it and you want to be honest, where does the passion come from? Well, yeah, those countries have it. We don't. It's kind of the way it is, bro. This isn't college football. You want passion? There we go. Let's go. College football. We got it. But baseball, so we got to be honest. So I have a problem with somebody comparing, did you see Barry Sanders and Achane? I know you're watching Achane because you live now, but are you old enough to have really watched Barry Sanders? And if you didn't, and that's where I kind of I got to stop you there. I don't know if you have the credibility to do it. Alexis Palenzuela, Oscar Rojas, True Fin fan. Let's see. Jay Bird. Morning to you, sir. Thank you for hitting it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't forget, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker. Thank you, sir. He says, I lost my passion for baseball when the strike happened, 94. I love the Braves, but when Terry Pendleton walked off the field in the middle of the game in protest, I had enough. It's just, we just don't have that kind of passion for baseball. So that's why, for me, those comments that people throw out there in the media and all that, it's like lazy, because you really have to look at it for what it is. Don't blame the players. It's everybody's involved in all of this. The players, the game, then the fans, and it's all a trickle-down effect. Stuck-up crap that they've done with baseball is just brutal here. Let's see. The Heat looked lost without Bam in the lineup. Yep, they did. But, this is why, whether it's Bam or Tyler, none of them are finishers. They're not closers. And so they don't have the star power. They have to play as a team. And by the way, that 83-point effort clearly took a toll on Bam, because he wasn't the same the next game, and now he missed this game with the calf injury. So you could tell that, it isn't easy going for that record either. It takes a toll on you. Jamie Zorria in San Jose, hitting it on hump day. Thank you, sir. Jeff in Long Island. Just because the Dolphins aren't going to trade Achane now doesn't mean he wouldn't be traded by the trading deadline. Well, on the Achane front, so today Adam Schefter reported that Achane is not up for trade, and that people have inquired about it, and they have turned everybody down. And once again, this is what we call, by the way, in those turn downs, do you think an offer wasn't made? Hey, no, we're willing to give you a third. We're willing to give you a second. And, nothing has caught his ear. And that's what he's doing. I think he would trade Achane if you knock his socks off. So the people that have inquired haven't felt like really knocking his socks off, because he's playing hard to get. And I got to respect the hell out of that. Okay? Because he is tradable. Come on. Don't be naive. Let's not be naive. A couple of weeks ago, he said, no, we're not trading Waddle and Achane. We're going to build forward with them, which made sense. If whatever young quarterback you're going to get, you got to give them some weapons, right? So, but now you ended up trading Waddle, which makes that Willis acquisition even more ugly. But he's showing to a certain extent that when he says he's going to keep a player, he'll keep him. But if you want him, you're going to have to peel him off of him. So until real desperation sets in, until somebody that thinks, hey, we're an Achane away from a title, we really need a running back, that's the person that he wants to hook, line, and sinker. Why? He's got him cheap this year. He could tag him again. He could tag him next year and tag him again if he wants, and then let him go. So he's got control of one of the best running backs in the NFL, one way or the other. He doesn't have to give him a long-term contract. He's in the driver's seat. And Achane has to play if he wants to get paid. And running backs, they are what they are, unfortunately. They're mistreated in this league. You know what I mean? So for me, the Achane statement means nothing because it didn't mean anything a few weeks ago. when you said Waddle and Achane, we're not trading those guys. Well, you just traded Waddle. And I don't blame you for trading Waddle. As you saw the show yesterday, I love that trade. You know? And we had Albright on from Denver, and I told him I thought it was a good trade for you guys, but I thought it was a great trade for the Dolphins. And by the way, Albright said it himself. He thought they overpaid. So do I. I think it's a second-round pick for Waddle, not even a first. To get a first and a third, man, that is awesome. So it'll be the same thing for Achane. Right now, whoever has inquired, whatever they fed Schefter from the agency and the team, oh yeah, no, they've inquired, but we've turned them down because they're not going to tell them exactly. Well, we've had some offers, but they're not good enough. They're not going to say that because you don't want. The best way to keep leverage is no, we're not trading them. We have no intentions on trading them, and that's it. But if you go. Yeah, no, we've had offers, but it's not what we're comfortable with. That means he's on the trading block. So you don't even want to open it to that sense. You want it to be like, oh, you want him? Hey, listen, man, we want him badly. We love him and all that. Oh, what? What? Let me think about that. Oh, no, sorry. Calls back 2 weeks later. All right, how about this? I respect that. Thank you for calling. Let me check with my people. All right, he's offering this now. There's no way we can turn this down. Boom. And that's what's going to happen if it happens. So, like I told you yesterday, just to kind of piggyback a little bit on it, you're waiting for an injury. And after the draft, if somebody doesn't get it back that they wanted, maybe. But I think with Achane, we're waiting for an injury in training camp or an injury by the trading deadline. That's what you're waiting for. So, there you go. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker, once again on Venmo. Thank you, sir, for the generosity. I lost my passion for baseball when the strike. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. There we go. Barry Sanders could do it all, like watching the ballet. He ran with grace. Different game back then. We'll never forget the game against the Dolphins, and Miami shut him down. Yes. Yeah. Barry was. I can't put Achane in my right mind. I can't put Achane in the same stratosphere as Barry Sanders. Now let's wait 6-7 years from now. And let's see what Achane is 6-7 years from now. And then maybe we can make a better assessment of it. But at the moment, I'm not. Yeah, I can't do that. Barry was as special as it gets, man. Brian Landis in the house. Eugene, Gus 1388. Ariel, good morning to you. Does the Waddle trade and keeping Achane mean that Sully will prioritize big, tall receivers and a run-first offense? We'll find out, man. We'll get to know. He's running his own show for the first time. So we can go off of Green Bay characteristics and habits from 20 years. But he wasn't the one making the decisions. He's the one filing reports and making suggestions and giving his opinion, but he's not the guy pulling the trigger. He's not the guy with the final say. Now he has the final say. So let's see what his habits are. And that's just right now, anyone is just guessing. That's all. We have nothing to go on. The guy's never done this on his own. So we'll find out. He already went against the Green Bay way by going out and putting a young quarterback behind a bad football team. Green Bay never does that. Ever. That's not who they are. They don't go putting young quarterbacks behind bad football teams. The Dolphins do that all the time. And Sully now is part of the same crappiness of the Dolphins putting nothing around Tua his first year and nothing around Ryan Tannehill the first year. Same stupid scenario. So I don't know. We're going to find out what he is. Does he do things the Green Bay way? Is he doing what you think, that it'll be a run-oriented offense? You'll get bigger receivers, which, by the way, they do normally do have some tall receivers, in Green Bay. I don't know. I can't answer that. Neither can you, neither can anybody, because there's no track record. Steven Rodriguez, top of the morning to you, sir. Andrew Williams, Brian Landis, thank you, sir. Appreciate the congratulations. My parents were married for 54. Crazy. I would I pray that I get to 54 with my wife. I pray that I can get to Zach Thomas with my wife. Get to 54. That would be pretty cool. Nice little toast while I'm overlooking the Pacific Ocean from the mountains. So at that point, no doubt I'll be there already for several years. Let's see what else. I don't know if I'll still be doing the show 22 years from now. Thank you, NorCal. Appreciate you. Thank you, Jeff. Skylar Tipton, Horn Dog. Rosendo says, for clarification, jingoism is an extreme, belligerent form of nationalism or patriotism that advocates for aggressive, warlike foreign policy, often driven by a belief in national superiority. But you know what I mean, like the jingoistic approach of getting behind, the whole thing and whatever we do in the country. It's just one of those things. Miles Deep, Snapper 305. Back in the day, we had Chichi Rodriguez and Lee Trevino, etc. Arnold Palmer. The sword. Rosendo Cuba won 25 out of 39 baseball World Cups. That's very impressive. Yep. Big O, everybody's tradable for the right price. Even Paul. No, I don't think so. I don't think they'll get rid of Patrick Paul. That's a young tackle, dude. Is this his third year coming up? Right? Third year, right? Wasn't it last year's second?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. I was thinking it was first year, but no,
he's a baby. He's a baby. No. He's on his rookie deal, bro. They're going to have 3 more years of his rookie deal. Nah, man. If he's a good player, yeah, dude. No, I'm not messing with that one. No, we didn't we just go over the Rob Hunt thing throughout the year? Like, didn't we admit, because a lot of us, including myself, I was like, yeah, no, you can't pay him $20 million. And then now we realize it was a stupid move that you had to pay him because that was the market. So it was a wrong. While I agreed with them at that moment, it was a bad move on their part, and it was a bad decision on my part to agree with them. And I hope you all feel the same, because most of us agreed, oh, you can't pay $20 million or guard. Well, now in hindsight, we kind of learned that, yeah, you're going to you got no choice. That year was moving in that direction, and that was stupid. So there's no way I'm getting rid of Patrick Paul. When you tell me about Austin Jackson, well, with all the injuries and everything, I kind of get it. If you're not sure about him long term and all that, you're just trying to get by this year and all that with him. Dude, I totally get that. Totally get that. But Patrick Paul played really well last year. He was not a problem last year. Him and Aaron Brewer were the only 2 guys that you just did not worry. You're worried about your left guard. You're worried about your right guard. You're worried about your right tackle. You did not worry about the center and the left tackle. And the center's all right. He's up there in years now. So I understand you got to plan for him down the line, but there's no way I'm getting rid of Patrick Paul. No way, dude. That's a guy that could be there for 14 years. No. Completely disagree with you on that one. Rusty, thank you for that. I forgot. I saw that before. Says, I remember back in the day, he would spit tobacco inside the glove to enhance the leather for better grip. It's just, character stuff. Just like characteristics that just trip you out. Big O, the guy that compared Sanders to Achane saw both play. I agree with you. I'm not ready to put Achane in the Hall of Fame. Okay, he did. All right. Then I can, take the opinion. Disagree with it, but at least I can accept it. Horn Dog says Barry Sanders was different. You couldn't leave the TV when the Lions were on offense because Barry could break an 80-yarder at any moment. And the moves that he could do, the lateral movement from Barry, nobody's ever had that. Since then, I have not seen anybody that can just break ankles like Barry Sanders. Still have never seen that. And that spin move was so beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you, Big Johnson, for the anniversary wishes. Appreciate you. Thank you. I agree, Dolphin Dave. Barry Sanders, definitely one of the 5 best up there. Sam the Man. Big O, why are some people out there say you don't like the beat writers? Oh, I know. Dude, fans at times have their silliness. And I used to have them all on, but they were all tied to sponsors. So they were on twice a week and they were all getting paid. I'm not going to bother people to come on just to come on. You know what I'm saying? And I can't bother them to come on every week. So we had business arrangements. That's the way I like it. Okay. Well, I'll call people if I want to, sure. But what do I need to have this the same opinion 3-4 times? And by the way, I got nothing but love for Omar. I got nothing but love for all the writers, dude. Marcel, Cam's called me, and we've gone back and forth on text. Sometimes he's offered to come on and everything, and it's just that at this point, okay, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Please, let's be honest. Who on the beat can teach me anything about the Dolphins? Let's be honest. Who on the beat actually breaks more stories than even I do? Let's be honest. Do I really need to have 3 or 4 guys on? Are they going to enlighten me on anything? Really much Dolphins? Very little. It's going to be very rare. So why am I going to have repetitiveness on constantly? And it's what I learned. And the Dolphins suck. So I'm tired of talking about a shitty team with 3 or 4 different beat writers every week. It gets monotonous. And I got tired of it. So I eliminated it. In fact, what I'm going to try to do now is expand on the coverage because is worth it. And I'm with Furones. I keep Furones. And then we add Chris during the season on the post game. It's more than enough. And what I give you guys, my insight and my knowledge on the Dolphins, I don't think there's anybody out there that's really going to be ahead of me, to be quite honest. Sorry that I'm cocky and confident about this, but I've been at this for 36 years, dude. So it's not like there's somebody out there that can really enlighten you or knows more about the Dolphins than I do, to be quite honest, if we're going to be honest. Okay? So that's why I cut down on that. It has nothing to do. People make it out to be personal. It has nothing to do with personal. It's all business. And it's my personal decision because this is my platform. And I do whatever the hell I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So I determine what happens. No one else. Has nothing to do with anything else. Okay? And at this moment, the redundancy is not worth it. If the Dolphins were actually good, then fine. This is why I've cut back on everything, dude. I'm not going to training camp ever again until they prove 2 consecutive seasons of winning playoff games. So when do you think I'll go back to training camp? don't know. It'll be years and years and years because they have to come up with consecutive years of winning a playoff game. Because that's what I'm going to go back. I'm just not wasting my time anymore. I know more than I gave you guys Tua going to Atlanta 2 months ago. Before anybody else. Before anybody else, I told you guys Tua's going to Atlanta. Here's why. Pop, 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 pop. Boom. There it is. 2 months later. I don't need none of the beat writers knew that. None of them. I had no idea. But you know what I mean? So it's just, that's what's going on. It has nothing to do with personal. That's stupid. That's silly shit that fans come up with. I want to get somebody on. I ask them and I bring them on. It has nothing to do. I didn't get into fights with any of these guys or anything like that. It's just, it's not needed right now. It's just not needed. It's too much. The Dolphins aren't worth the coverage. So why am I going to talk about the same move with 4 different guys when a team's not going anywhere? You know what I mean? But last year I told you guys it was going to be a shitty season. Did all the beat writers tell you that? Did they all write from the beginning, hey, by the way, we're going to cover the team, but we want you to know it's going to be a shitty season. Don't expect them to go to the playoffs. Did any of the beat writers do that? Not one of them. But I did. I told you right from the get-go, hey, it's going to be a horrible season. I told you it was going to be a horrible season, that it was going to be so bad. I told you right from the get-go, I'm not going to training camp anymore. Last year I started it. Because I said, no, I'm not going. It's going to be bad. I really, at this point in my life and in my career and the people I know and everything behind the scenes, there's not a Dolphin writer locally that has more insight than I do. There just isn't. So, and those of you that listen to the show, come on, dude. The proof is in the pudding. I do it all the time. So I've been doing it for years. So that's what it is. It's just silliness that fans come up with. I love those guys. I have nothing against those guys, but business is business, dude. At this point in time, it's a redundancy that I don't want to go through. I just don't. It's boring. It's boring and it's predictable, So that's the truth, if anybody wants to handle it. Let's see. What else? Buenos dias, John. Cosa, Rosendo, Dessou, HN is in Sanders, Williams, Walpayne, etc. He's tradable. There is a premium on the O-line, not running backs. You are a smart man. Rapid recovery. HN would be compared to... Nah, I wouldn't even put him in the Marshall Faulk category either, bro. No, I wouldn't put him in the Marshall Faulk. Again, can I wait, 6-7 years from now before I start putting him anywhere in that conversation with any of these kind of guys? I need several more years. Think Blue Dodgers, good to see you, my brother. Big Johnson says, even after retirement, as long as Big O has a voice, maybe he will pop in every now and then to BS. Yeah, I will. I agree with that. We'll continue the show when we go to another country, for sure. Definitely. It'll be a much more relaxed show. Let's see. Jeff in Long Island. Stony Stanley, good morning to you. Patrick Paul is a stud. I agree with you. Think Blue Dodgers. I wouldn't touch him, bro. I want him on my team permanently. Let's see. Just tell them the team will not go anywhere unless they decide themselves to be building from the interior. Exactly. And we'll find out, man. We're going to find out what Sully's all about. I love the trade yesterday. That's for sure. Hated the Willis move, but I love that trade yesterday. Paul has to stay. Left tackle is more important with right-handed QB. Amen. Tackles are important, period, dude. Lines are important. You just don't get rid of tackles, man. You know? Barry Sanders had the most flexible knees of any athlete. And hips, man. Hips. Those hips. His hips can't lie. Okay? All right? Forget Shakira. Barry Sanders' hips can't lie. That's what I'm telling you. Let's see what else. True 100% honest. I want to enjoy. Thank you, true Finn fan. Stephen Harris, Miami broker. How much Dolphin insight do we need? The Dolphins always find a way to be terrible. I don't need to know how much terrible. I mean, it's just like it's just a repetitive thing. There's no need for it. By the time you go back to Dolphins training camp, when that happens, this platform will still be on YouTube and nowhere else. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. But I'm telling you, I will not go back for a while, dude. I'm not doing it anymore. I did it for decades. I'm done. For me to go back there, it's got to be worth it. I'm not doing it for the what ifs anymore. I've done that for decades. Yeah, I'm done with that. When you guys are good, then we'll give you that attention. But for now, yeah, I can cover it all, and I know exactly what you're doing, and I can pretty much predict everything that you're going to do and what's going to end up happening. So it's nothing new. David says, Achane had a healthy 2025, but that's not been his history. He's missed a lot of time, small back with tread wear. As great as he is, if you can get a second plus a fifth from a contender trade. David, I think he's just playing hardball. But I think he's going to trade him. If he has a chance and somebody is desperate enough, and he, like he did with Waddle, that he got a great deal with Waddle, I think that's what he's holding out for, my brother. I really do. Sweet baby Ray, good to see you. Says, I feel the Finns will trade Achane to a desperate team at the right time, like you mentioned yesterday, fleece somebody. Exactly. That's what it looks like. Dave Hyde. Well, Dave Hyde wasn't a normal guest. I can have Dave Hyde on too. But I mean, right now, what is there to talk about? It's so obvious now. It's just, that's why I don't bother. You know what I mean? It's not the idea that I don't have a ton of guests anymore. That's because I don't want to. Yesterday, the trade happened, and it happened with Denver. So I went and got Ben Albright, who covers Denver, and I already was going to have Furones on. That's it. You know what I mean? I just don't need to go overboard for any of that, you know? So, and when I do, it'll be when we expand it because they're actually good, and then we'll get new sponsors and we'll expand those segments. Now, I'm actually going to start working on getting expanded segments for the Canes because they're actually good and they're worth covering and they're worth talking, bringing extra people for that because they're actually accomplishing something or trying to. Whereas the Dolphins are light years away from all of that. We're going to have 2 terrible years coming up. Why do I need extra people to come on to talk about, a rebuild? Something you and I have been a part of over and over and over again. So I'll wait till one of these works. Okay. So the day one of these rebuilds work, then, we can expand. But for now, there's no reason to, man. At all. All right, let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar out here at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Don't forget, if you need custom printing and embroidery, please reach out to Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443. And we start in the World Baseball Classic where Venezuela beat USA 3-2 to win the World Baseball Classic. Your boy, Aaron Judge, 0 for 4 with 3 Ks, baby. Bryce Harper, 2 of 4. With that 2-run shot, which was a beautiful home run. Tovar batted .471 for the series, 2 of 4. And Abreu also had the home run yesterday for Venezuela. The Hornets, they defeated the Heat last night, 136-106. No Bam, by the way, out with the calf injury. Hero scored 20 points on 5 of 11 shooting. Powell scored 17 points on 7 of 17 shooting. Kashad Jones was the bright spot early on. Then the shooting percentage went down as the game went on, but he did end up with 15 points, but shot 3 of 9 from three-point range. Also had 5 rebounds and 3 steals in the game. Thursday, they take on the Lakers at 8 o'clock on the ice. Panthers lose to the Canucks 5-2. Thursday, they're in Edmonton at 9 o'clock. Tonight, CONCACAF Champions Cup action. Inter Miami will be taking on Nashville, or hosting Nashville, by the way, at Chase Stadium. That'll be at 7 o'clock. By the way, Inter will also play NYCFC on Sunday at 1 o'clock on the road for that one. Let's see what else. Friday, University of Miami. First round action in the NCAA tournament at 10 p.m., dude. Number 7 Miami taking on number 10 Missouri. Miami is favored by 1.5. Over and under is 147.5. Missouri's minus 135. And then Miami is plus 110 on the money line. And Saturday at 5 o'clock, the Fort Lauderdale United hit the road to take on Lexington SC. And you can catch that game on ABC locally and also on Peacock. You can catch the games. And if you want to get some season tickets for the rest of the season, FTLUTD.com. And congratulations to Nova Southeastern University. They make it to the Elite Eight for the 5th year in a row, dude, as they win the South Regional Championship. They beat Alabama Huntsville last night, 79-63. Dallas Graziani, he's like a staple there, dude. 30 points, 5 steals. Ross Reeves had 20 points. They won their 105th consecutive home game there for Nova. That's amazing. And making it to the Elite Eight 5 years in a row. So they are still on target to try to win another championship, another Division II championship, which would be amazing. WNBA and the Players Association have come to a verbal agreement on their collective bargaining agreement, so the season will move on. That is good news. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. We appreciate it as always. Jay Ellingsworth, thank you for the love on Venmo, sir. He says, I'm 66 years old. The 2 most electric players I've ever watched from pure excitement standpoint were both named Sanders. I love what Sully is doing. Total teardown. I'm even okay with Malik because the contract doesn't hamstring you. I'm finally excited for the upcoming Dolphin season. I'm excited for the building of it. But the problem I have with Malik is if he's not a franchise guy, Jay, and he just wins you a couple of extra games, what does that do? That hurts your draft status. So he better be a franchise player. I'm not worried about the cap and the money. See, that, I'm glad you brought this up. People are all hung up on, the Dolphins have $175 million of dead cap money. Who cares, dude? Dolphins have sucked for 30 years. They're a joke every other year. They barely ever make the playoffs. And when they do, they get thoroughly embarrassed in the first round of the playoffs. So who cares if they suck or if they have a bunch of dead cap money? You make it sound like that stopped them from being good or something. You could give them the $175 million and they're still going to suck. Their problem is that they suck. Their problem is that they don't have the right front office. They don't have the right head coaches. They never find the right quarterback. That's their problem. Everybody gets hung up on the money. Who cares about the money? That's Stephen Ross's problem. Our problem is they can't find the right front office and the right head coach and the right quarterback and the right players. Everybody gets hung up with all the dead cap money. Oh, my God. And this, and that. It's beautiful because on this show, we actually have explained to you now for years that it's not about the dollar. It's about the inflation of the dollar, the reprinting of the dollar. We tell you all the time. That's why I'm a big Bitcoiner, because 7 to 10% of our money is printed every year. So when we had Ndamukong Suh and Tannehill dead cap money, which was, dude, when was that already? 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago? Let's just say 10 years for craps and giggles. Okay. So if you reprinted the money 7 to 10% every year, what does that tell you? That's at least 70% of the money is going to be. And guess what was going? It has nothing to do with, oh my God, it's a record. Of course it's a record. It's just like with movies. Oh, they took in a record $1 billion and it used to be 900 million. Well, of course, dude, buying a ticket now is $16. When that record was broken, it was $12. So it's, it's not that there's more people. It's that you're charging more and that the money's worth less. You get the same iPhone, but you got to pay more for it. You get the same Whopper, but you're paying more for it. And sometimes they're shrinking the Whopper and you're paying more for it because the dollar is getting devalued. And everybody's freaking out about them. The money is meaningless. It's all the same. The same money that's dead cap right now is the same money that it was 7, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, 30 years ago. Well, not that, well, maybe almost 30. But my point is, it's just that the money gets devalued. So it gets multiplied and it looks like it's bigger and it's bigger loss and all that, but it's really the same thing. When Ndamukong Suh and Tannehill, it was a large portion of your cap also. Just like it's a large portion of your cap now. It's all relative. You know what I mean? It's just a funny thing how people talk about it. And who cares? It's gone in a year. And then next year you'll have a little more dead cap money, and then that's gone. And you move on. It's not a big deal, dude. And it didn't stop you from doing anything because you were nothing before it, during it, and after it. Okay? So let's just let it go. It's just like this whole thing. I get it. It's the off season. There's nothing going on. So we've got to write articles and talk about something. Who cares? Make a big deal out of nothing. Anyway, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Hateful Steve in the house says, I'll admit Team USA losing is my fault when they stop giving interviews, telling me how much it means to them. If they admitted they don't care as much as the teams they play, I get back to it in 3 hours. You don't care about it either, bro. America doesn't care about baseball. Not like they do. It's not even close. That's all it is. It's not even close, man. Not even close. They care about baseball way more than we ever will. We've lost our love for baseball. So, to me, it's just kind of ridiculous in the end. All right. Let's see what else. And thank you, sir. As always, I appreciate your generosity. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Always appreciate that. And we always encourage that because we get 100% of the donation, whereas in the Super Chats, they take 30%. So that's why we encourage the Cash App or the Venmo. There you go. Yes. Oh, definitely. Definitely. What else do we have here? True Fin Fan. I think Sean is doing that right now, True Fin Fan, for you. He says done. Okay. Done. So there we go. Robert Slappy. Yes.
And by the way, the reason, because one of his comments was Malik Willis is taking us to the Super Bowl this season because he's that good.
Okay.
Right, so we don't block people for being stupid. I mean, we block people for being stupid, not for just saying your opinion. But when you start being stupid,
and trolling and spamming and all that and putting 50 comments.
And then he also said Mike McDaniel was elite.
Yeah.
Just going through the things here because I want everybody to know we don't troll you for stating your opinion.
No.
But we don't ban you for
not opinion. Right.
We ban you for trolling.
Yes. Trolling and stupidity. We'll get rid of you. It's all good. We can move on. It won't be the end of the world for us. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, and we appreciate it. Thank you. But you can watch now. You just can't comment now. And really, it's not like any of us really cared about the comments. So you're better off just watching. Let's see. I appreciate you, Andrew Watson on Venmo. Thank you for the love. He says, let's go Shane Falco, but more so those cheerleaders on the sidelines, LOL. Okay. Okay. I will reach out to you, Andrew. Okay? Thank you for reaching out. Okay? I will reach out to you, my brother. This afternoon. All right. And thank you, sir. Jeff in Long Island. Let's see. Oh, God, I'm not worried about that. Don't worry about that, Jeff. Dolphin Dave, 2023 was a good team with the wrong head coach and injuries on the defense. It sucks, but that's our luck. Go Dolphins. I agree. You think we could get 2 firsts for Achane? No. I don't think you'll get a first for Achane. You know? Yeah, I didn't think we'd get a first for Waddle, by the way. But, that's why I wouldn't be surprised if we get it from somebody that's desperate after a big injury. That's what I think, So that's where I kind of land with that one. All right, what else do we have? By the way, the Heat last night in losing to the Hornets, they're 38-31. On top of all of that, they're Atlanta's just a half game behind them, and they've won 10 in a row. And Charlotte is 3 games behind them that just beat them, and they're 7-3 in their last 10, just like Miami. But Miami's now lost a couple. And remember, now comes this tough part of the schedule. Lakers are playing all right. We'll see if they can take care of the Lakers on Thursday. If they don't, then that's this is that stretch that we talked about, that if they lose a bunch of these games, they're already at number 7 now, and it'll continue to drop them. So I would look out for Atlanta and Charlotte right behind Miami, that it could drop Miami to number 9. So, and when you end up again in the play, which is what they look like. It's what they are. I know they went on a little run here and they won a couple of games, but it's just kind of the NBA season is that way. It doesn't really give you an indication that you're that team. You're that team when you do it for a long stretch. Like all these people now after Bam did the 83, you got people questioning SGA because he gets the 20 at least every night and this, that. And it's like, dude, do you watch the guy play? He plays a fundamental style of basketball that will force you to cover him, force you to foul him, because he's not taking a bunch of crazy shots. He takes a lot of high percentage, smart, intelligent basketball shots. And so if they don't go in, you're either fouling him and putting him at the line, and he's going to get his points. That's how some of these players are. They're really smart. They understand the game. They know how to use leverage. They know how to use their bodies in the air. They have consistent strokes. These are things that just elevate players to another level. And SGA is like that guy that is boring, right? Because he's not super magical and he's not super electric, but he's so consistent that it drives you nuts that somebody could be so fundamentally sound and consistent at that position like that night in and night out. And he just knows how to score, man. And it's not like he's fudging the game or anything like that. It's his greatness that it allows him to drive it that way. So it just it's kind of it's interesting how people spin things, and anyway, so we'll see what happens with the Heat down the stretch. Not that, any of us are really inspired by the Heat this year, unfortunately. It's not a good franchise right now. Panthers, their season's over. It's been over for a while now. Canucks took care of them. We'll see. It's just a matter of surviving the rest of the season as healthy as possible so you guys can just go into the off season and rest and rehab and get ready for next year and hopefully end up with a top 10 pick. Where are they right now, Sean? Are they in the top 10 worst? Because we need them to be in the top 10 worst. Yeah, they are, right? They are right now. Okay. All right. Good. All right. That's good. All right. Good. Because they did win a couple, and then it was like, how many teams are worse than the Panthers? Just keep me in the top 10 because we keep our first round pick. By the way, no, we're good. We keep it in the top 10. We keep our first round pick. To me, that's what I want for the Panthers. Rest, rehab, recharge, get your first round pick. Right. Well, good. Right. Well, it's hockey. They don't do that, bro. They're not NBA. Those guys have character. They're not the guys that are going to be somewhat healthy or a little banged up, and then their teammates are playing. They actually feel guilty about that. That's how hockey players are. There's like a level of humanity that even though they play brutality, there's a level of humanity that they have for and respect for their fellow man that just doesn't exist in some other sports. Go ahead.
They also haven't been in 3 100-game seasons.
I know, man. It's crazy.
All right, so right now, they're sitting at 69 points.
Okay. So how many teams?
They're 8th right now.
Okay.
But at 69, Winnipeg is 67. They're 64 and they're 62. So depending on how everything shapes out, they could drop. But then again, everybody
just keep me in the top 10. Don't get out of the top 10.
9, 10, 11 are 70. 12 and 13 is 71 points. So
and we have how many?
69. Oh, so one win, they're up there. A couple losses, they're down.
That's
so it's one of those things to where, like I say right now, play some of your prospects, see what they do. But again, I know what you're saying about the hockey thing, but
that's who they are.
At this point, you're closer to the bottom of the conference than you are the wild card. So it doesn't make sense to. But they do have games in hand, by the way. Just so you know,
it doesn't make sense that they have character. Why don't you guys be like NBA players, huh? Just take the season off. That's it.
Sin could chuck to ride a horse or something and then take the game off or something.
It's crazy. Let's see. Brett Dodgers, those hips are made for running. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Dolphins suck for 30 years. That's my lifetime, says Anthony. Willis will be the bridge for the 27 drafted QB, so you don't throw him in there his rookie year. Yeah. I could use crappy QBs to be the bridge to the 27 QB instead, bro. I don't want a guy that's going to help me win an extra game or two. I don't need that. If he's an absolute rock star, then awesome. Let's see. Robert says, been a fan since 84. I was 12 years old. I've never seen the Dolphins win a Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Let's see. And Steven, you got the block you wanted, baby. You got the block you wanted. Again, it looks like maybe the block. No. You got the block a lot of people wanted, apparently, because there was just a bunch of people that wanted that one blocked. So yeah. What else? 0-17 Dolphins. The weird part about 0-17 Dolphins, okay, and I've mentioned this already this week or last week it was. If you're 0-17 and Willis played 14 of those games, how are you feeling about that free agent move? And then at that moment, and then how are you feeling about John Sullivan? John Eric Sullivan then. You're going, so wait a minute. You brought a guy over and you gave him $22 million and he couldn't win a game? You could have. Thank you, Sean. You could have had Quinn Ewers do that. You could have had Sean Stanley do that. You could have had Orlando Alzagari do that for you. You know what I mean? You could have had anybody do that for you. So that's the only negative about all of it. Well, there's many negatives, but this is one of them. One of them is that he looks so horrible. You're like, well, what did you see in this guy? And then you're now worried, can you guys find a quarterback? Because you're not the one that was in charge all those years prior to finding quarterbacks, right? So these are things that we have to worry about right now. Now, if he's terrible by the end of the year, but his draft class was awesome, it'll balance out a little bit and all that. And we have to look at it this way. Everybody fails at getting quarterbacks. Everybody. Even great quarterbacks fail at getting quarterbacks. Yeah, because Peyton Manning couldn't find a damn quarterback. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, John Elway couldn't find a great quarterback, not Peyton Manning. John Elway couldn't find a great quarterback. So even great quarterbacks can't find quarterbacks. So I can't. But if the draft is good, then that's still a positive, because the quarterback thing, you know, unless you're in Green Bay, that they seem to hit on their quarterbacks all the time. But everybody else seems to fail miserably at quarterbacks until they find one. So that part we can't necessarily completely hold against John Eric Sullivan. But it'll be a little bit disturbing if Malik is terrible. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's see. George, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. He says, oh, I'm with you on Malik. Not a fan. What specific benchmarks does he needs to hit in the next 2 years for you to become comfortable with signing? Bro, by the end of the 2 years, I have to be convinced that Malik Willis is a franchise quarterback. That's what I need. That's the only way this works, is that Malik Willis is a franchise quarterback and a stud. If he, for the last 2 years, won me 2-3 extra games this year and 4 extra games next year, and I ended up with a 6-win season instead of a 2-win season this year, and I end up with a 8-win season instead of a 3-win season this year, and then after that you replace him, then I'm saying you guys are idiots. You guys brought a guy that killed your draft position, and he wasn't even the future. So the only way this works is if Malik Willis is a franchise quarterback. Average, mediocre, all right, decent. We've had that, dude. That's all we ever get. I don't need another Matt Moore. I don't need another Damon Heward. I don't need another Fitzpatrick. I don't need a Jag that comes by and wins an extra couple games. Who cares about that? I need to bottom out. And that's where I didn't understand this Malik Willis move from the get-go last week. And now with the Waddle thing, it becomes an even dumber move. So the only way this move is not dumb is if Malik Willis is a franchise player, that these guys signed and had the vision and the foresight and said, this guy's a franchise quarterback, and I don't know when we're going to get one, which is very true, because we haven't had one since Marino. So if that's the case, God bless them, dude. These guys have some great vision. It's going to be awesome. Then we're in good hands. You know what I'm saying? But if Malik Willis is just, he's all right, he's a guy, he's a Jag, he's average, he's mediocre, then it was a stupid move. An absolutely moronic, stupid, setting you back type move. Okay? There's only one out here. It's kind of like the war right now. There's only one out. If you don't obliterate them and change the regime completely, there's no way of winning this. You can obliterate them and walk away, and you failed because they just rebuild. Okay? They're like that thing that you cut the arm off and it regrows. That's what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. There's one out here. One out. One out. Dude must be a franchise player. Anything else is setting back this franchise. Because we don't need anything else. We need a franchise guy. So Malik better be franchised. Or that's strike number one on John Eric Sullivan. Because if you're going to bottom out. And what you don't do is put another young quarterback behind a terrible football team. That's just stupid, dude. That never works. Never works. Okay? And I've seen it throughout my entire life. I explained that too already on yesterday's show. Anthony Kyle Campos. Thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Says, don't know what's more reliable, Dolphins or fair rides. Oh, fair rides for sure. I'd rather go and hang out at the Dade County Fair and. Well.
I don't know. I think the Dolphins are more reliable because you know they're always going to be bad.
Oh, so you never take the ride. Okay. All right. Okay. I like that. Yeah.
You know what you're going to get.
Yeah. At the fair, it's usually a good ride, but you might get surprised with that one ride that just,
Like the last time, this fair we went to recently. They had the, I can't remember. The one that just spins real fast.
Okay.
And plays the loud music.
Right.
They weren't playing the loud music.
Used to be called the bobsleds or something like something. The Himalaya.
Himalaya. That's what that's what I was trying to look for.
The Himalaya.
So this thing's just spinning. No music. Not the same ride anymore.
Right.
It's like
it's like baseball. They took the life out of it.
They did. Just
was the guy riding it standing?
Yeah. No, they don't do that.
You know how that
stop.
You know when you ran you rode the Himalaya, that guy used to get on and get off when it was already spinning fast, and you're like, yo, that dude's crazy. That dude's crazy. And you were like, hey, man. And the Himalaya, you always wanted the inside seat because you wanted to crush your friend on the outside seat. Right? I mean, if they didn't know anything about the Himalaya, you wanted the inside seat. That was the key. And then they're blasting that music, whether it's rock or some kind of, R&B funk or something. And nobody can hear how you're torturing the person on the left side of the seat because they're screaming, but nobody can hear the screams because the music is so loud. Ah, yes, the days of the but our rides didn't go flying off in those days. Now they seem to just now they seem to be going off the wire there a little bit. Anyway, let's see what else. Big O, the Dolphins Bible starts with before Marino and then after Marino. LOL, agreed. Let's see what else. Franchise QB singing a bargain deal, not a franchise contract. Well, because right now he's still proving himself. Franchise QBs will sign a contract. Well, we wouldn't have been able to get him if he was a franchise QB. You know what I'm saying? So what you're doing now is kind of like not the same, but it's kind of like Baker Mayfield. He's getting a trial contract, and if he can go out and prove that he's the guy, then he'll get a franchise contract. And that's what Baker Mayfield did. Sam Darnold. He had to go prove himself, and now he's going to get paid. You know what I mean? That's kind of the way it goes. You kind of go proving you, and that's where Malik is. He's at the stage now where he got drafted, got sent away from his draft team, developed for a couple years, got the ability to play, was able to show improvement from his years in Tennessee. Now he's going to get the next elevation, which is starting. So he's not supposed to get a franchise contract. So it's silly for you to think that Miami is just going to sign a franchise quarterback because they become available out in free agency. So, you can't complain about something that's unrealistic, in other words. And that's what you're doing, my brother. You're complaining about something that's unrealistic. Of course, you're not signing a franchise quarterback, because why would a franchise quarterback sign with this team? They would rather go sign with Minnesota. They'd rather go sign with a team. They'll say, you know what? That CJ kid is not that good. I'll go sign with Houston and take his job. That's what a franchise QB would do. He would go to one of those spots that is a franchise QB away, not coming to the Dolphins, dude. So your point makes no sense. So Miami signed what they can. They're at the stage where they have to find a tryout guy. And that's what this is. $22 million a year is not crushing or anything. What I don't like about it is that if he's not a franchise guy, in the short term, it really doesn't help one bit. So that's where it hurts. But to expect a franchise guy to sign with Miami, why would they? That would be a stupid person. If you were a franchise quarterback to sign with this Dolphin team now, you'd be a moron. You're better off going to Atlanta, taking the job from Tua and Penix. You know? Let's see what else. Big O, I'd rather go to every live event in South Florida, including Holiday in Paradise and Coconut Grove Coyote, instead of the Dolphins. Okay. Wow. It's pretty bad. Oh, man. The spinning wheel with the music back in 2004 killed people. Remember that one? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, in my day, you know, back in the 80s and 70s and stuff, I don't know. We were just riding around and having some fun. But yeah, nowadays it's the people in charge. The carnies in charge aren't the same. Let's see. Stephen Harris wants some elephant ears. That's the best. That is the best. You know, what is it, the lemonade? Pickle lemonade. Yeah, that's some crazy stuff that you had. And you had and you took one home and everything. You're insane. 3 of them. Oh, man. Anyway, so yeah, that's what we're waiting for. We are waiting for the hard ball to be played by the Dolphins, and then they'll figure out what they do with Achane. But Achane will get moved if there's a deal to be had. They will move him, so that'll be the good thing. By the way, we have rebounded. The Dow is up 46 points. I'm not exactly sure why. That is weird. The S&P is up 16, and the NASDAQ is up 0.5 point. So that is really good news. I don't know what happened. Did they take out the entire regime while we were on the air or something? Because that would be really nice. That's the only way this thing's going to work. No, I don't see anything like they've taken over. All right. Oh, they did put the Jones Act out. So, well, I don't see anything that says it. But okay, we'll take it. We shall take it. It's wacky, man. It is wacky. So we're barely in the green, but it's kind of crazy that it was like 400 points in the red, and now it's a little bit in the green. Gotta love that. All right. What's it like seeing the Dolphins win a Super Bowl? Because a fan in '84 at the age of 12. So I've never seen the Dolphins win a Super Bowl. I was young, man. So I've told you guys over and over again, I didn't really experience it. At 7 and 8 and giving my dad fives when he's, winning it. And yeah, he was like going crazy. And I was like, celebrating with him a little bit, but it's not the same, dude. A 7 or 8 year old in the early 70s, I am so what's the word I want to use? I am a 7 and 8 year old in the early 70s compared to a 7 and 8 year old now. I am so remedial compared to a 7 and 8 year old nowadays. A 7 and 8 year old nowadays knows way more than I ever did at 7 or 8 and understands more things than I do at 7 or 8, believe it or not. And so, I mean, we were very simple in those days. So it wasn't like I was really explaining football at that moment. It was just like I knew when he held out his hand and yelled touchdown, I gave him 5. And then I'm looking at it, but at that time, that doesn't register the same way. That's why I've told you that whenever they do win it again, and if I'm still here on this earth, it'll be a real experience. I didn't have a real experience. I saw it. I remember it with my dad, but it's blips. It's nothing. It's not like real. It's not vivid in my mind because you're so young at that moment. And I remember I was playing with my Tonka truck in one of them. I remember that. I to this day, I still remember me playing with my Tonka truck and kind of half-assed watching the game. Because again, a 7 or 8-year-old in those days compared to a 7 or 8-year-old nowadays, it's not even the same, dude. There's no way I have the intelligence that a 7 or 8-year-old or the exposure that a 7 or 8-year-old has nowadays compared to back in the day. Those of you that are my age, you know what I'm talking about, and you can back me on that. So yeah, it's not so. Anybody that tells you that they brag about a championship of 7 or 8 when back in those days, it's a lie. It's a lie. You know it happened, but it's not like you really truly lived it and enjoyed it and that emotion poured out. Dude, I think I'll cry if the Dolphins win a Super Bowl. Wouldn't do it for any other championship of any other team, but maybe for the Dolphins, considering all the pain. Tears of joy, but I could see that with the Dolphins. I could see that happening to me. Anyway, so. All right, what else? Oh, I haven't done any music. Let me do a little music here just to break it up a little bit. All right, let's start off with musicians born on this date, on the 18th. All right, here we go. Well, it's kind of slow. Okay, here we go. All right, now we've got Adam Levine, guitarist, vocalist for Maroon 5, born in 1979. Queen Latifah, born in 1970. Oh, they didn't put a real name here. Let's see what else. The other list might have it. Jerry Cantrell, badass guitarist, baby, founding member, of course, of Alice in Chains. Born my year, 66, so he turned 60 today. Vanessa Williams, the beautiful one, born in 63. Let's see. Still remember that whole thing when she lost her Miss America crown and all that because the pictures came out. Our world was so different then. Like now she wouldn't lose it, but it's just crazy stuff. Irene Cara, fame. We just lost her a couple of years ago. Born in 1959, we lost her at 22. In 2022, that is. Who else? John Hartman, one of the founding members and drummer of the Doobie Brothers, born in 1950. Barry J. Wilson from Procol Harum, the drummer, born in 47. Eric Wolfson, songwriter, lyricist, vocalist, producer, and pianist, and co-creator of the Alan Parsons Project, born in 45. Chucky Weiss, vocalist, with Ricky Lee Jones in the hit song Chucky's in Love, born in 45. Let's see who else. Okay, don't know this guy, but happens to be one of my favorite Elvis songs. Dennis Lindy. He actually wrote the song Burning Love for Elvis Presley. Hucka, hucka, burning love. One of my favorite songs. Born in 43. Wilson Pickett, the great Wilson Pickett, singer-songwriter, born in 41. Recorded over 50 songs, which made the U.S. and R&B charts. Let's see, who else? Charlie Pride, great country singer, born in 1934. That is musicians born on this date. Now we go with famous people. And remember, if we don't give you the age, that means that unfortunately they have passed away. Grover Cleveland, the 22nd and 24th United States presidents, born in 1837. You know, Grover also, when he used to talk to a former president, he used to talk to himself also. So some people do that, you know what I mean? Like they can't really talk to any other president, so they talk to themselves. So that happens. 47 talking to 45, 22 talking to 24. You know, these are normal things. All right, we move on. Winemaker Ernest Gallo, born in 1909. Actor Peter Graves, born in 1926. And this is your mission should you decide to accept it. Let's see who else celebrating birthdays today. Olympic gold medal winning skier Ingrid Stenmark, born in 56, 70 today. TV personality Mike Rowe, born in 62, he's 64. Ooh, badass. Olympic Hall of Fame speed skater Bonnie Blair, born in 64, she's 62. Let's see. Musician Philip Sweet from Little Big Town, born in 74, he's 52. And let's see, that's it. Sean Stanley, do you have wrestlers born on this date?
Yes, I do.
Awesome.
Oh, I did. Hold on.
Okay.
Gotta wait for the reload here.
Reload?
Yeah. Apparently I hit the button or something and it disappeared. So on March 18th, we have EC3 turns 43. The great announcer Lance Russell was born on this date in 1926. Rick, the model Martell, turned 70. And the great Solo Sikoa turns 33 on March 18th, 2026.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. What happened today in music history? That's a beautiful thing. Let's find out. We start off in 1939. On this day, Frank Sinatra made his first recording, a song called Our Love, with the Frank Maine Band. In 67, the Beatles had their 13th U.S. #1 single with McCartney's Penny Lane. In 77, The Clash released their first single, White Riot. In 77, Iggy Pop released his debut studio album, The Idiot. It features the singles Sister Midnight and China Girl. In 78, the brothers Gibb held the top 3 positions on the U.S. singles charts with the Bee Gees' Night Fever at #1, Love is Thicker Than Water with Andy Gibb at #2, and Emotion by Samantha Song, which was written and produced by the Bee Gees at #3. It's just emotion, it's taking me over. China. All right. Let's see who else. In 82, Asia released their debut studio album, Asia, and it features the singles Heat of the Moment, Only Time Will Tell, and Soul Survivor. Soul Survivor is probably my favorite song of that album. I love that album. That album is so good. That is just a masterpiece of an album from beginning to end. Love that album. I can jam it at any time. Stereolab in 96 released their 4th studio album, Emperor Tomato Ketchup. It features the singles Cyber Reverie, Metromonic Underground, and The Noise of Carpet. In 96, on this date, the Sex Pistols announced that they were reuniting for a 20th anniversary tour. In 97, on this date, Aerosmith released their 12th studio album, 9 Lives. It features the singles Falling in Love, Hole in My Soul, Pink, and Full Circle. In 2002, on this date, the Ramones were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame by Pearl Jam's Eddie Vedder, a close friend of the Ramones. In 2011, the Strokes released their 4th studio album, Angles. It features the singles Under the Cover of Darkness, Taken for a Fool, and Machu Picchu. In 2013, David Bowie's first album in a decade became the fastest selling of the year. The Next Day was the 66-year-old's first #1 album since 93's Black Tie Noise, and 94,000 copies in the first week. I have Black Tie White Noise. Good album, actually. Let's see what else. 2014, The War on Drugs released their 3rd studio album, Lost in the Dream. And on this date in 2017, Chuck Berry died at the age of 90. The American guitarist, singer, songwriter was one of the architects of rock and roll music. All right. And let's see if there's any birthdays that were left off the other list. Nope. That's it. That is it. All right. Good stuff. All right. Good one. All right, Sean Stanley, do me a favor. Give me a 1-minute break there, sir. Appreciate you all. Give me 1 minute.
Oh, Sam, not again.
Initiating Daddy's back.
Go! Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Blink, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Blink. Be the maestro of your own home.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RM see Fisher Island.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is
It's the Big O Show with Orlando Walls and Gary. It's the place to go for South Florida sports commentary. The Dolphins, the Panthers, the Canes, and the Heat. No one but lives matter inside on the South Florida beat. On most platforms, crushing local radio. Search Big O Radio Show on most platforms.
You know, and I'm confused because I went back to it and now the market says it's down 411 points. So it was down before, and then all of a sudden I got some green, and like, this is weird. So yeah, Dow's down 411 points. That makes more sense with all the craziness going on. And S&P's down 41. So there you go, just in case. But anyway, appreciate you all out there as always. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. QB can help win a title if they play within the system of the team, like Greasy did by managing those great Dolphin teams in the 70s. Exactly. No quarterback carries a team in football by himself to a title. That's like the silliest thing there is in the world. Nobody does that because it's football. And when Mahomes doesn't have a line, he doesn't win. When he doesn't have weapons and things aren't like this past year, he doesn't win. Because no matter how good the quarterback is, he needs the help in order to win. So yeah, I mean, that is automatic. And the sad part is we have people that think that the quarterback carries you all by himself, and that's impossible. Okay, if you have the supporting cast, it'll make him look like that a little bit, but it's because everybody's doing their job around him. People are blocking, people are running the right routes, people are catching balls, or they're making plays, they're stopping people. And so it's not just one guy. But sometimes we make it sound like it's one guy. And that's the craziness of the whole thing. It's not one guy. It's insanity. By the way, Welton Rayom, proud sponsors of our program. We love talking about Jeff Welton, Daniel Rayom, 954-966-4646. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Please give them a ring. And we've had listeners here in South Florida, the Gold Coast, the West Coast, Central Florida, call Welton Rayom, and they've been able to take care of them, took care of a lot of our listeners over in the West Coast after back-to-back storms a couple years ago. that really took a lot out of our residents here on the West Coast. So reach out to them. Never call the insurance companies when things like this happen to you, because the insurance companies will send their adjusters, but the adjusters are working for the insurance company, not for you. So they have their own adjusters. Welton Realm will send their adjusters and make sure everything is done for you the right way. 954-966-4646 for Welt and Realm. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And we are here at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, folks. So come on out. Got the largest new car inventory in South Florida, certified pre-owned rates as low as 0.9% financing. The WRX 2026 model and the redesigned 2026 Outback is here. So come on out and take advantage of it. We appreciate that immensely. And of course, don't forget to mention our name. You will get $500 off here at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. All right. Let's see. Exactly. Oh, even half of our fan base thinks that QBs like Tua is supposed to carry a dysfunctional team to success. Yeah, which is insane. No QB carries a team, dude. QBs can make their plays and do their jobs, but they don't carry the team. They put you over the top, but you better have the team to get you to that point. Because if you don't have the team, there's no way that it ends up working out, you know? So that's the obvious part to it all, unfortunately. Let's see. Big O, the only thing I remember is going to Calle Ocho in my aunt's convertible to celebrate the Super Bowl win. I was just 5 years old. That's it. Okay. Calle Ocho. That must have been an interesting scene back in the day. We didn't go out we just were right at home, close to Calle Ocho. I was on 4th Street, not on 8th Street. So I live 4 blocks away from 8th Street. I lived right by Versailles, actually, for many years when I was a child, and especially during those 2 championship years, I lived in that area there. But we didn't go out in a car or anything like that, honking, all that. Pots and pans didn't exist in those days, not yet. Yeah, I don't remember any of that kind of stuff. Again, I can't say that I lived it the way some older people may have lived it, at that time. But I just wish one day it happens again, man. Because it would be really, really nice to experience that. Okay, that would be really cool if Dolphins can experience one championship, just one. That's all. By the way, did you see that Warren Sapp ended up resigning from Colorado a couple weeks ago? Yeah, Sapp is leaving his position as Deion Sanders' coaching staff. Colorado announced that Sapp has decided to leave the program where he worked for 2 years, most recently with the title of pass rush coordinator. Warren Sapp has resigned from CU football coaching staff to pursue other opportunities. CU Athletic thanks Warren for his contributions to our football program over the last 2 seasons and his commitment to our student athletes. What other opportunities did Warren Sapp get? Not every great player becomes a great coach. And sometimes that's kind of what ends up happening here. But we'll see. They were like 3-9 last year. I think what also was losing his son. He didn't have the kind of quarterbacking that he had. Yeah. Right. They had a couple of those guys and then everything else. Plus, you had a quarterback that can play. And so it just didn't seem like they had a quarterback that can play like his son, last year. So yeah. And, the other story, did you guys see this story about Neil O'Donnell getting accused of rigging the Super Bowl? So I've had this story in the cycle for a couple of weeks and I forgot to use it, but it's there saved. So Neil O'Donnell may have very well just had a tough day working the day of the Super Bowl Back in 95, O'Donnell led Bill Cowher's team to a big game against the Dallas Cowboys. Unfortunately for Pittsburgh, O'Donnell threw one touchdown while being intercepted 3 times. Even decades later, fan and analysts alike have speculated that O'Donnell's usually poor performance or behavior seemingly was out of character, might suggest something more sinister that hasn't been proven. So during the 95 season, O'Donnell threw 17 touchdown passes against only 7 interceptions, which is nothing great, by the way. 2-1 is nothing out of this ordinary. He was by no means a perfect quarterback, but he was generally reliable in protecting the football. This is why his 3 interceptions in the Super Bowl, 2 of which were picked off by Cowboys defensive back Larry Brown, who ended up then getting a big contract and never living up to it, raised so many eyebrows. The mistakes occurred at critical moments, directly swinging momentum in Dallas and in favor and contributing significantly to Pittsburgh's defeat. All right? So, accusing a former teammate of rigging a Super Bowl is an extraordinary claim, yet this is precisely what former Steelers guard Emerson Martin alleged while speaking on the $1 Million Minute podcast with Neil Haley. Martin's comments reignited debates among fans who still wonder if O'Donnell's performance was merely an off day or something more controversial. Regardless of the truth, the memory of the Super Bowl 30 remains a defining, painful moment in Steelers history. So, listen, nothing against Neil O'Donnell, but I do believe he threw that Super Bowl. Martin said while speaking on the show, Neil threw 2 perfect passes in that game. Go back and watch the game. We had a receiver named Corey Holiday running down the sidelines with his hands up, and almost like Larry Brown was checking him down the slot, and Neil with perfect 2 passes went to Brown. So, and then he goes, we also had Emmitt Smith under 50 yards for the game. He had 1 long run for 36. So he had 1 run of 36 and he was under 50 yards for the game. If you take those 2 plays away where Brown returned those 2 interceptions inside the 10-yard line, that is the 2 touchdowns that converted in that game and would have been totally dominated by us. We would have been talking about it in a different story. We should have won that game. We were the better team that day. We played better with the exception of the 2 plays. See, here's my problem with all of this. Neil O'Donnell sucks. And this fool is trying to make a case like this is Joe Montana throwing away the Super Bowl. No, dude. Neil O'Donnell was a mediocre quarterback. He had a bad day because he's a mediocre quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. So when you had a great quarterback, you won 4 Super Bowls. When you had a great quarterback, you won 2 Super Bowls. When you don't have a great quarterback, there's a good chance you don't win the Super Bowl. And Neil O'Donnell is not a great quarterback. So I get it. The team was awesome, but you were up against a hell of a team too, because the Dallas Cowboys were pretty good in those days. It's just bitterness is sometimes funny in this light decades later that we're removed from this. But when you start to, take a look at it overall, it's like, yo, what's going on here, dude? Are you kidding me? Are you joking? Come on, bro. We're talking about Neil O'Donnell. Why would Neil O'Donnell throw a Super Bowl? That would make his entire career having a Super Bowl. Because outside of that, he is a mediocre quarterback. Nobody ever talks about Neil O'Donnell as a great quarterback. Because if you do, your IQ for football is not very high. Neil O'Donnell was a serviceable quarterback. And on his best day, he might be average. But he was never above average or superior or excellent or franchise quarterback or anything like that. Just find it funny, dude. So all of a sudden, years later, here comes this dude with some bitterness because they didn't win it, and he wants to blame Neil O'Donnell when you're lucky you even made it to there with Neil O'Donnell. It's Neil O'Donnell, dude. Nobody's going to make it to a Super Bowl with Neil O'Donnell. The fact that you made it, it's amazing. And maybe you were the better team, but you didn't have the better quarterback that day. So you had a team that was as equal as yours, But the difference is Troy Aikman doesn't make mistakes. He was as accurate and clean as a quarterback as it gets. Actually, he was very SGA. Not super flashy, but super consistent, bro. Super boring, super consistent, super Tim Duncan, same kind of guy. SGA, Tim Duncan, Troy Aikman, boring consistency all the way to the Hall of Fame. Tom Brady, boring consistency all the way to the Hall of Fame. Pick you apart with 5-yard passes, 5-yard passes, bam. Right. Not scrambling, not doing anything exciting, not nothing. Just complete a pass here, complete a pass there. Just consistency, So that's what you were up against. If you would have had that, Pittsburgh, then you win. But you didn't have that. You had Neil O'Donnell. Give me a break. That is so cheesy, dude. You know what I'm saying? Really, really cheesy. Anyway. Let's see what else. With online gambling on the horizon, will more Black Sox scandals continue? No, I don't think so. It's not happening a lot. There's too much money in the sport for it to. Yeah, it's like lower level. Yeah, there's too much money. You can't buy everybody because they're making too much money. Yeah, back in the day, they weren't making money, so you could buy people. But now. That happens in the scrubberinis and with idiot people and all that, but it's not common. You know what I'm saying? It's just not common. So, what can I tell you? Anyway, what else? Let's see. Happy Wednesday to you, no doubt. Thank you. Hope we take care of O-line in draft. I think they will. I think they'll draft a guy at least, or maybe two, because you have later picks, so you could probably take a little project and stash him. But I wouldn't be surprised because they kept Austin Jackson, and he's going to be here for at least a year. So you could draft a young tackle that then takes over for Austin. You did bring in a guard, but you could draft a guard also. You could draft a center to start grooming him for Aaron Brewer. So all of these things could happen at some point. So between 1 and 3 of those kind of players could be taken in the draft. And what I mean by maybe 2 of them are drafted, another one's undrafted, or maybe all 3 are drafted, but not necessarily high picks. One of them might be, but the other 2 might be more projects, stuff like that. But I can see them because again, it's a Green Bay thing. But I don't know if they're going to do everything Green Bay way. We'll find out. Because the Willis thing is not a Green Bay thing. People forget that the one thing besides salary that prevents main starters throwing games is ego. These top QBs and players have massive egos to want to be the best at what they do. Yes. And Neil O'Donnell's not. No. Neil O'Donnell's the kind of guy that desperately needed to win that Super Bowl, dude. That's what would have made his whole career. If not, to me, Neil O'Donnell is just a jag. That's it. All right, we thank Alan and all the great people out here at Subaru Pembroke Pines. We thank, of course, Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend. We thank all of you that tuned in, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, made a donation. Thank you all. You can always make a donation at any time, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. We'll see you all tomorrow morning. We are studio tomorrow and studio on Friday. There we go. Y'all be good. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.